Man, these motherfuckers right here look real familiar. Now, is it just me, or does Milan Christopher, whatever his name is, the guy in the red hat, does he or does he not look like that battle rapper Math Hoffa, the one who punches rappers on stage? Remember, he punched Dose in the face and he punched Serious Jones in the face during the rap battle. Does he or does he not look like Math Hoffa? And then the other dude, in my opinion, looks like a mixture of the RZA from Wu-Tang Clan meets Will Smith. He especially favors Will Smith, but like RZA and Will Smith back in the day, if you like combine their faces. But anyways, that's just my opinion. So the following Love and Hip Hop Hollywood Season 2 news comes courtesy of rollingout.com. Rollingout.com writes, and I quote, Love and Hip Hop Hollywood is set to return for a second season on VH1 this September, and while fans can expect the same drama from last season, they can also expect to see some groundbreaking reality TV, as it's been revealed that Mona Scott Young has decided to add a gay couple to the series for the first time in the entire franchise's history. Pause the story. Bullshit. Sin Santana and Erica Mena was the first gay couple, so that's bullshit. Back to the story. They said, and I quote, according to VH1, for the first time in history of Love and Hip Hop franchise, the reality soap opera will feature an intimate relationship between two men at the center of the show's plot, in the relationship between rapper Miles and producer Milan. And according to the network, fans can expect quite the juicy storyline from the couple as they deal with the dramatic love triangle involving Miles' ex-girlfriend. That's referring to Amber Laura. Anyway, the story goes on to say, this season of Love and Hip Hop Hollywood will explore one of the most complex relationships in franchise history. Miles, a West Coast rapper who was raised with church values, bravely faces his truth when he realizes he's in love with Milan, an openly gay man. The struggle becomes complicated for Miles because his best friend and childhood sweetheart, Amber, is still in love with him. The season follows Miles and Milan's difficult and emotional journey as they deal with the stigmas often associated with intimate relationships between black men in the music industry. Read the press release. Now, first of all, what stigmas? What stigmas are associated with quote unquote black men in the music industry? Like, what does that even mean? I mean, people can date who they want to date. I think that the issue really derives from the fact that they're selling this as a gay storyline. Like, if that's what your storyline is, that you're gay, that's not much of a storyline. I mean, who has a storyline that, hey, we're straight? You know, whose storyline is about being in a straight relationship? It's not. It's just a relationship. So why are they selling it as a fucking gay relationship? And the reason why is because there's propaganda attached to it. You know? That's why they're bringing up race in it. That's why they're saying black men in the music industry. Because there's this myth that quote unquote black people are so quote homophobic, even though most of us have somebody gay in our family. You know what I mean? So I guess we shun them the way that a lot of Caucasian people do. You know, because they know that behind the scenes, a lot of Caucasian families will kick somebody out of the family because they're gay. They'll banish them. So they say that that's what quote we do too. Bullshit. Anyway, the Rolling Out article finishes off by saying the following: but that's not the only drama the couple is bringing. See what Milan had to say about his fellow castmates after the cut. So then you go to page 2, and they said this, and I quote, according to TMZ, sources say that Milan has been filming with the show for 3 weeks, but the majority of the rappers on the show refuse to film with him. The sources say that the rappers aren't shunning Milan because he's gay, but because he's producer with no credibility. I guess they meant to say he's a producer with no credibility in the world of hip hop. Milan has reportedly worked with big name rappers, but mostly as a writer. The sources say that at least 3 of the rappers refused to film with Milan. Although they claim they're not homophobic, Milan reportedly says that it's clear that they want nothing to do with gay rappers, end quote. Okay, so how do they make it clear? You know, you got to be specific. Just because you throw accusations out there, don't make them true. Now, I know that gay men and women go around saying all sorts of shit about straight men, and it's supposed to be received at face value, like when those women accused Bill the Pill Cosby of being a rapist. They're like, oh, he sexually assaulted me, he raped me, this, that, and the third. And we're just supposed to believe them because they're a woman and he's believed to be a straight man. So, you know, the whole bullying straight men and basically misandry in general, which is basically misogyny towards a man, misandry, it's just really gone so far and out of hand that literally the only thing a woman has to do is just say, you know, that a man did this or a man did that, and people just automatically believe it. You know, it's the same thing with gay men. They have that female privilege, those female rights. It's kind of like living in a time where you're a quote unquote black person, but quote unquote white people have different rights and different rules that they have to live by than you. They're treated differently out in the open, and then you're told to just accept it, because if you don't accept it, you're just complaining. You know, how dare you care about yourself? But there's going to come a time where gay men and straight women are going to have to live at the same standards that men live at. Either we're going to be accepted the way that they're accepted, or they're going to be accepted the way that we're accepted, and they won't be able to handle it if they have to be treated like straight men in society. And it's really going to be something for the record books to see. But anyways, as far as these two gay guys and this shit with the girl and I mean, honestly, it sounds like a boring storyline. So because all three of you are dating each other, I'm supposed to think that this is interesting? This sounds like what would happen if somebody put a camera in Will Smith's house. You know, they say that they're swingers, Will and Jada, that is. I don't see how this is interesting or entertaining in the least bit. I watched the show for Monique Slaughter, Hazel E., Yessie Ortiz, April Jones, Nicki Minaj, Nia Riley, and whatever fly chicks are on there. You know, excuse me if I missed anybody's name. There's so many of you, it's hard to remember everybody's name. But unfortunately, Masika Kalisha is reportedly not going to be on season 2. But anyway, I don't even watch the show for the men in general. So there you go. To tell you the truth. I mean, Fizz and Omarion, they're cool as hell, but, you know, sorry, bros. At the end of the day, I watch the show because of fine-ass women and to see what people are doing with their music careers, which, you know, even though the show doesn't usually produce too good of a result for people. I mean, Omarion had a hit single with Supposed to Be or whatever it's called with Jenny Aoki and Chris Brown. It went gold or platinum. It was a big hit. But for the most part, people go on this show and their music careers flop. I mean, K. Michelle has some success. She went number 2 in the, was it the number 2 album in the country, or was it the number 2 R&B album in the country? I can't remember. Anyways, for the most part, people who put their music out on this show and then they go and put their lives out on this show end up feeling miserably in the music industry. Almost nobody makes it after going on this show. For the most part, the show is about has-beens and people who wish they could be in the industry anyway. Most of them aren't serious musicians or aren't good enough to be in the mainstream music industry in the first damn place. You know? And if your selling point is that you're a homosexual, then you're exploiting homosexuality. I don't see how that helps homosexuals. But what do I know? This is just my 2 cents, just my opinion. What's yours? Let me know what you think about it all below. Be sure to subscribe to the Meat Magazine YouTube channels. Visit meatmagazine.blogspot.com for more.